Boo, boo, kids. You're listening to a couple of spooky, annoyed grumboys, and this is the 300th, 138th Simpsons podcast. Woo. That's right, we're the Simpsons podcast that discusses the beloved and spooky animated sitcom called The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond, and the newest episodes when they air. Why do we do it this way? Well, a spooky entity known as Wheel of Random has trapped us and cursed us to only watch those episodes because plenty of other spooky podcasts out there have discussed the golden age of The Simpsons, that being seasons 1 through 10. So we're tasked to see if any of those episodes can match those spooky golden age. But I don't do this alone because I'm one horrified, annoyed grumpboy named Cannibal Craig. And with me, as always, is...
Succulent Steve. Did I do it right this time?
Yeah, you did it right this time.
Okay.
And welcome, Steve, to our 300th Spooktacular.
Well, this calls for a celebration. I will.
Thank you to former Vice President Al Gore.
Yes.
For that. We're here to celebrate the only thing that matters on this podcast, and that's us.
That's right.
Episode 300. In fact, we've got some well wishes from, dare we say, our favorite listener.
I think we can dare. Friend of the show, Timothy, who's been with us since the beginning, also knew that it was our 300th episode and wrote us a very nice email. It says, wow, 300 in a row? Can't believe it's been almost 6 years of great Simpsons coverage and conversations about massive hogs. Looking forward to the next 300. Cheers. Oh man, Timothy, thank you so much. You are salt of the earth, wonderful person, and we're just so glad that you and everybody else listens, but especially you, because you're great.
He said 300 cheers. Did he just give us a hint to stop talking about Simpsons and start talking about Cheers?
Maybe we should go to a place where everyone knows your name.
Thank you, Timothy. If it wasn't for Timothy, I feel like a lot of this podcast would be a lot worse. You know, he was a day one listener and gave us a lot of suggestions, and we took to those suggestions. And thanks to him, I think this podcast is a lot better because of listeners like him.
Indeed.
And you too could be a listener like him and contact us at 13simpsons@gmail.com and tell us how much we suck and how we can improve.
Indeed.
So be like Timothy, folks.
Yes.
As our friend Timothy said, 300 more to go. It got me thinking, we have done so many episodes.
Yeah.
What's left that we haven't covered? So I thought, to annoy our audience for the 300th time, we go over every episode we have yet to talk about.
I love it.
Let's go through every title that we have yet to review.
Okay.
First one we got here is It's a Mad, 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 Mad Marge.
Behind the Laughter.
A Tale of Two Springfields.
Insane Clown Poppy.
Lisa the Tree Hugger.
The Computer Wore Menace Shoes.
Homer.
Worst Episode Ever.
Tennis the Menace.
Bye Bye Nerdy.
Treehouse of Horror 12.
The Parent Rap.
A Hunka Burns in Love.
The Bludder Years.
Sweets and Sour Marge.
The Lastest Gun in the West.
The Old Man and the Key.
Blame It on Lisa.
Gump Roast.
I Am Furious Yellow.
Papa's Got a Brand New Badge.
Treehouse of Horror 13.
How I Spent My Strummer Vacation.
Helter Shelter.
The Great Louse Detective.
The Dad Who Knew Too Little.
Pray Anything.
A Star is Born. Again.
Mr. Spritz Goes to Washington.
Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Old Yeller Belly.
Break My Wife, Please.
Mo Baby Blues.
Treehouse of Horror 14.
My Mother the Carjacker.
The Fat and the Flurriest.
'Tis the 15th Season.
I, Annoy Gruntbot.
Diatribe of a Mad Housewife.
Milhouse doesn't live here anymore.
Smart and Smarter.
Codependence Day.
My Big Fat Geek Wedding.
Catch him if you can.
The Way We Weren't.
Treehouse of Horror 15.
Sleeping with the Enemy.
Fat Man and Little Boy.
Pranksta Rap.
There's something about marrying.
On a clear day, I can't see my sister.
Mobile Homer.
Future drama.
The Heartbroken Kid.
Home away from Homer.
The Girl Who Slept Too Little.
Treehouse of Horror 16.
Marge's Son's Poisoning.
The Italian Bob.
My Fair Laddie.
Bart has two mommies.
Homer Simpson, This Is Your Wife.
Girls just want to have sums.
Regarding Margie.
The Monkey Suit.
Ice Cream of Margie with the light blue hair.
The Ha-Ha'd Couple.
The Wife Aquatic.
Revenge is a dish best served 3 times.
Little Big Girl.
Springfield Up.
Yokel Chords.
Homer Rozzi.
Marge Gamer.
Crook and Ladder.
Stop, or my dog will shoot.
24 minutes.
Midnight Towboy.
Treehouse of Horror 18.
Little Orphan Millie.
Eternal Moonshine of the Simpsons Mind.
E Plurbius Wiggum.
The Departed.
Papa Don't Reach.
Apocalypse Cow.
Moda Leavesa.
Sex Pies and Idiot Scrapes.
Treehouse of Horror 19.
Dangerous Curves.
My Pods and Broomsticks.
Take My Life, Please.
How the Test Was Won.
In the Name of the Grandfather.
Wedding for Disaster.
Eeny Teeny Maya Mo.
The Good, the Sad, and the Drugly.
Father Knows Worst.
Waverly Hills 9021 Annoyed Grunt.
Homer the Whopper.
The Great Wife Hope.
The Devil Wears Nada.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Thursdays with Amy.
$1 Million Maybe.
Boy Meets Curl.
The Color Yellow.
Stealing First Base.
American History Excellent.
The Squirt and the Whale.
To Surveil with Love.
Mo Letter Blues.
Judge Me Tender.
Elementary School Musical.
Loda Lisa.
Money Bart.
Treehouse of Horror 21.
The Fool Monty.
The Fight Before Christmas.
Homer the Father.
Angry Dad, the movie.
Love is a mini strangled thing.
The Real Housewives of Fat Tony.
Homer Scissorhands.
Bart Stops to Smell the Roosevelts.
Treehouse of Horror 22.
The Food Wife.
The Book Job.
The Man in the Blue Flannel Pants.
The 10% Solution.
The Doshal Network.
Man Goes from Rags to Riches.
At Long Last Leave.
Exit Through the Quickie Mart.
Them Robot.
Beware My Cheating Bart.
The Spy Who Learned Me.
Lisa Goes Gaga.
Moonshine River.
Treehouse of Horror 23.
Penny Wise Guys.
A Tree Grows in Springfield.
To Cur with Love.
Homer Goes to Prep School.
A Test Before Trying.
The Changing of the Guardian.
Black-Eyed, Please.
Pulpit Friction.
Whiskey Business.
The Fabulous Faker Boy.
Dangers on a Train.
Treehouse of Horror 24.
YOLO.
Labor Pains.
Yellow Subterfuge.
White Christmas Blues.
Steal This Episode.
Specs in the City.
The Man Who Grew Too Much.
The Winter of His Content.
Luca $.
PayPal.
Super Franchise Me.
Treehouse of Horror 25.
Opposites of Frack.
Blazed and Confused.
I Won't Be Home for Christmas.
The Man Who Came to Be Dinner.
The Musk Who Fell to Earth.
Walking Big and Tall.
My Fair Laddie.
The Princess Guide.
Waiting for Duffman.
Peeping Mom.
Every Man's Dream.
Puffless.
Halloween of Horror.
Treehouse of Horror 26.
Lisa with an S.
Paths of Glory.
Bardhood.
The Girl Code.
Much Apoo About Something.
Gale of Constant Sorrow.
The Markian Chronicles.
How Lisa Got Her Marge Back.
Flan Canyon.
To Courier with Love.
Friends and Family.
There Will Be Buds.
Dad Behavior.
The Last Traction Hero.
The Nightmare After Christmas.
Fats Caraldo.
22 for 30.
The Caper Chase.
Looking for Mr. Goodbart.
Moho House.
Springfield Splendor.
Whistler's Father.
Treehouse of Horror 28.
Grampy, Can You Hear Me?
The Old Blue Mare, She Ain't What She Used to Be.
Mr. Lisa's Opus.
Don Boy.
Ha Ha Land.
Homer is where the art isn't.
Fears of a Clown.
No good read goes unpunished.
Forgive and Regret.
Left Behind.
Bart's Not Dead.
Heartbreak Hotel.
My Way or the Highway to Heaven.
Treehouse of Horror 29.
From Russia Without Love.
Daticus Finch.
'Tis the 30th Season.
The Girl on the Bus.
I'm dancing as fat as I can.
101 mitigations.
I want you, parentheses, she's so heavy.
My sports.
Bart versus Itchy and Scratchy.
I'm just a girl who can't say annoyed grunt.
Woo-hoo, done it.
Crystal blue-haired persuasion.
The fat blue line.
Gorillas on the mast.
Livin' la pura vida.
Bobby, it's cold outside.
Hail to the teeth.
Freak coin.
Bart the bad guy.
Better off Ned.
The hateful 8-year-olds.
Now museum, now you don't.
The 7-beer itch.
Free dreams denied.
Sorry, not sorry.
A Springfield summer Christmas for Christmas.
The dad feelings limited.
Diary queen.
Wad goals.
Yokel hero.
Do pizza bots dream of electric guitars?
Uncut femmes.
Burger Kings.
Mother and child reunion.
The man from GRAMPA. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah. Did we waste 5 minutes of our listeners' time?
I think so. Are we going to get paid by the word?
I hope so. That's why we did this bit.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
All right. Should we do it again, but in reverse order?
Yes.
I think the listener doesn't want that, Steve.
Okay. Well, should we review all the episodes that we have talked about already?
Okay, for our 300th episode. Quickly, out of those episodes, though, which one are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, probably the one with either Lady Gaga or Elon Musk.
I knew you were going to say that.
You sure do know me, Craig.
I was actually going to say that the Musk who fell to Earth is the one I want to review.
Yeah, I'm just very curious and horrified by it. So
yeah,
and
a little horny.
A little bit, yeah.
But of all the episodes we have reviewed, what's been your favorite?
That's a great question.
Because I couldn't tell you.
I think any episode that I get to talk with you, Craig, is my favorite.
Well, I have an answer. And that, of course, is Dial In for Nerder. That was my favorite episode.
I think so, not because of the episode itself, but just because of the pure quality of our content and our recording.
Yeah.
Set the bar pretty high there, I think.
Yeah, after that, everything went downhill.
Right.
Well, Steve, this has been a long introduction because it's our celebration, after all. For our 300th episode, we do have another celebrity wishing us well. Steve, I'm going to play the clip real quick. Another famous podcaster talking about how great we are.
Craig is a lot of fun.
That, of course, was Jenna Fisher from the Office Ladies podcast. So thank you, Jenna.
Very sweet. I thought that was very nice.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish it would have been nice if he would have had something to say, something about me, Steve.
Yeah. Well, you were kind of a dick, so. We do have a famous person, a voice from the Simpsons themselves, wishing you, Steve, something nice.
Wow, Steve has the biggest small penis that I've ever seen. Nice.
You know me too well, Lisa.
All right. Well, Steve, let's chew off another 300 episodes. Or at least this one. And let's put our Halloween costumes on because we got to do a Treehouse of Horror, Steve. That's right. We're at Treehouse of Horror 35. Giant monsters created by political rage threaten to tear the town apart. Victorian Mr. Burns is jump scared on Thanksgiving by ghosts of his abused workers, and Homer bonds with a pair of extraterrestrial genes in an unforgettable stop-motion adventure that can only be called Denim. Thank you, Internet, for that synopsis. All right, Steve, I'm going to need to take a break. We'll come on back and talk about this episode.
Sounds great.
We'll be right back. Today we're talking about Treehouse of Horror 35. It's the 5th episode of the 36th season, episode 773 in the show's run. Original air date, November 3rd, 2024. Your nerd code is 35ABF13. It was written by Rob LaZebnik, Dan Vebber, and Matt Selman. Directed by Tim Bailey, and the showrunner is Matt Selman, Rob LaZebnik, and Al Jean. Steve, you think I should have said their ghoulish names since it is a treehouse?
I mean, you could, but I'll just go through them real quick. So that's written by Necropolis, Rob LaZebnik. Fear is the Mind, Vebber, Dan Vebber. And Drat, Selman. Directed by Timothy Amazing Colossal Bailey. And your showrunners are Matt Follows Selman, Rob Nosferatu LaZebnik, and Weird Al Jean.
Has Al Jean never used Weird Al before?
I gotta assume, like, it's just right there, but maybe not.
Was it still created by Bat Groening?
Yes, it was.
I don't think they give Sam Simon a funny name anymore because he's dead.
Yeah, just actually dead Simon.
Steve?
Yes.
There's 3 tales in this Treehouse of Horror, I'm assuming.
There are, but before we start those 3 tales, let's begin our annual Fright Fest with a colorful and frantic opening sequence from Emmy and Annie Award-winning animator Jorge R. Gutierrez, who's responsible for such works as The Book of Life, Maya, and El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. So we go to a fiery underworld. Demonic versions of Lisa and Otto rock out on guitar, creating a hellish soundtrack for the video game-like battles taking place. We have Marge using Lisa as a weapon against Snake Jailbird, ripping off his flesh, leaving only a Day of the Dead-style skeleton. Bart uppercuts Krusty, knocking him out, and Maggie, who is sitting in the emptied head of Homer, and it's the last we'll see of her, by the way, uses his body to slam atop a Smithers-Burns snake-bat hybrid, causing it to spit out a nuclear bomb, which then explodes. The violence continues with Bumblebee Man smashing Sideshow Bob, and from the creator's own Book of Life, La Muerte mimics Chun-Li's spinning kick from Street Fighter II to knock out the wind of Xibalba in a perfect KO. The camera zooms out to show Kang and Kodos playing Los Simpsons Fighter arcade cabinet, and thus begins El Treehouse Horror 35.
You know, because a couple days previous when this episode aired, it was Day of the Dead, November 1st.
That's right.
So I like how they used that, instead of our silly Halloween that we had the day before.
Exactly, and I'm not super familiar with the work of Jorge Gutierrez, but the animation style is a lot of fun. It reminds me of, like, mid-90s Cartoon Network, like the Gennady Tartakovsky days of, like, before Cartoon Network became, like, really popular, but when they had their own animation, like the What a Cartoon Show, and, like, you'd see a lot of experimental animations. It reminds me of that, where it's, like, a little rough around the edges, but very vibrant, very colorful. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Adventures of Manny Rivera. Was it based off of famous New York baseball pitcher Mariano Rivera in his days as a child?
If he was, as a child, a masked warrior named El Tigre and fought powerful enemies and was from a family of superpowered ancestors, then yes, it was.
I mean, he was one of the great relief pitchers of all time, so yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, what a fun couch gag, I guess you would call it. So we saw Maggie and, of course, King and Kodos. This will be their last appearance in this episode as well, but you got to include them, right?
That's right. It's the law.
It is the law. Do you know why Maggie is not in the rest of this episode? I happen to know.
I don't know. Please tell.
Well, because this episode airs a couple days before the election in America, so she couldn't make it for the live taping on Sunday when this aired, so she had to fly out to her home state to vote.
Ah, good for Maggie. Yeah.
She's from Ohio, Springfield, of course.
Of course. I've heard some scary things about that place.
Yeah, so it's about eating pets.
Yeah.
All true, by the way. All true. Well, this episode drops after the election, Steve, so yeah, let's pretend that the election's over, Steve, so we're in a good place now.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll just say that.
Yeah.
We're alive, and that's all that matters.
Exactly, and, I've often, thought about how, entertainment, especially cartoons, can be a good escape. There's a lot of politics in the world, and, you can focus on that too much, but luckily the Simpsons are always there to, remove yourself from that and get into this fictional world where the real world doesn't matter and, politics aren't a problem anymore.
I agree. So I think for the rest of this podcast, let's put aside politics and not talk any sort of thing. And, the election's over anyway, so, we're done. Let's just not talk about it. And we'll get on with our first segment and get on with the horrors because we just want to see some fun little scary things.
Exactly.
And not the real scary things like American politics.
Right.
So, Steve, let's begin the first segment, which is called The Information Rage. This will be fun. I wonder what this is about, Steve. We're in Springfield City Hall, where Lisa's tireless and tiresome advocacy, the city will be providing free LED light bulbs to every household. That's fun.
Yeah.
This is a seemingly nonpartisan innovation, so it pleases the townsfolk. Ooh, it sounds a little political, but it's not partisan, so it's fine, right?
Yeah.
I think in this clip, we're going to hear some people divided.
I can use the money I save to pay for these louder bullets. I applaud Springfield for finally embracing a progressive idea. Whoa, Nelly! It's a progressive idea. Well, now I hate it.
You can have my incandescents when you unscrew them from my cold, dead lamps.
But this is for a good cause, the planet, or film preservation, or whatnot.
People, don't let our divisiveness turn this into another big gulp riot.
I do like how a certain word, and I guess this is can become a political podcast to you, saying something like a progressive idea just scares the right.
Yeah.
This is just LED light bulbs. Like, it's a non-issue. But when you say it's a progressive thing, it's helping something, it scares us all. Or a certain group of people.
Yeah.
But I do like the Rich Texan of the shooting the louder bullets, but then, like, bringing the bullets back. It's very funny.
Yeah, and it is funny, too, because, like, there have been, like, things where, like, they'll announce that, like, hey, you know, those gas stoves that we've all used for years, maybe not so safe. So moving forward, we're not going to make them anymore. But if you have one, then, you know, it's fine. Just know that you probably won't be able to buy another one. And then a certain side of the country will be like, oh my God, they're trying to take my stoves away. It's like, no, it's just the future. Like, things happen.
Yeah. I've never lived in a domicile that had gas. I've always had electricity or electric stoves.
Hey, Craig, I used to live with you. I can assure you, you've lived with a domicile that had gas.
You mean farts.
I do mean farts.
Okay. But, Steve, I feel like this is going to be a very political segment.
Ugh. Two things I want to say about the clip before we go on. I do want to say that I like Lenny. It's for a good cause, like the environment or film preservation or something. That's just really funny. I also want to mention that could be mentioned Big Gulp Riot, which we'll mention later on. But yeah, just remember that.
What about the Zoot Suit Riot?
Throw back a bottle of beer.
What about a grapefruit diet?
Also great.
All right.
Ah, God, I love Weird Al.
Weird Al Gene.
Weirdo Al Gene. So as Quimby points out, the eternally pouring soda fountain commemorating the 32 lives lost for 64 ounces that a mournful carbonation will never forget. The people of Springfield become divided. Lawn signs are put up showing support for both sides of the issue, with statements like,
steer clear of my chandelier.
Women's lights are human lights.
LED me to the future.
Don't turn me on.
This is an LED light district.
Come in and screw me.
Well, as Marge and Lisa notice all the hostility around them, Marge wonders where all the negativity comes from. But Lisa is more concerned with where all the rage goes. In the depths of the ocean, river, or other massive body of water next to Springfield this week, a commotion occurs and the ground begins to crack.
So over at Moe's, Homer and the other barflies watch Fox News, where a talking head reports of a culture war occurring in Springfield, threatening to take your light bulbs. The commentator asks what they'll take next. Your truck's testicles? Or maybe Mrs. Butterworth's ample bosom? The Duff drinkers in the tavern cheer in rageful agreement, and over at $8 Coffee, Dr. Hibbert, Principal Skinner, and Julio watch as a Rachel Maddow type on left-leaning news channel MSNPR feels that the far-right crazies need to check their Watt privilege. The latte-sipping liberals also shout in support of their own echo chamber.
So all this divisiveness creates more rumbling underground, causing a red claw to emerge from under the water, and a giant glowing red beast screams to the surface, smashing wind tunnels. So seeing the eco-friendly energy mills be destroyed causes joy from onlooking, red-leaning Springfieldians. There's like Gangster Louie, Kearney, Lindsay Nagel, and the Sea Captain.
So the more conservative-minded kaiju steps in on a mail-in battle location and crushes the Center for Disease Control. Other folks supporting Red cheer on the monster, including Reverend Helen Lovejoy, sure, Ned Flanders, yeah, Herman, Gary Chalmers, which is kind of a surprise to me, and Dr. Nick. Top of the roof of Springfield Elementary, Bart and Lisa look on as it destroys a sculpture garden. Lisa wonders if her brother is a right-winger as he cheers it on, but he replies that he's just mostly anti-Lisa. He adds that he's also anti-saxophone and pro-wrecking stuff that helps people, which, by Lisa's reasoning, puts Bart squarely on the right.
Are you sad by the Chalmers is red-leaning?
I guess it kind of makes sense. Like, I know that he's a big Teddy Roosevelt guy. There's an episode I don't think we've ever reviewed yet, but he teaches Bart about Teddy Roosevelt.
I remember that.
But I guess I always thought of him as more of like a weirdo libertarian guy, but I don't know.
All right. We see other Springfieldians who are red shirt leaning right people. So like we said, Agnes Skinner, Rich Texan, Miss Muntz, Willie, which I'm a little disappointed with that.
Yeah.
Radio Wolfcastle, which is interesting because, that's the parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But as of this record, Arnold Schwarzenegger is leaning a little blue this year.
That's right.
And then Mayor Quimby, although it's funny that he's a Republican, yet I thought he was a Democrat, one being a Kennedy parody. But I guess now he's like an RFK Kennedy.
Ooh.
But remember that episode where Sideshow Bob was writing as the Republican mayor?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Blunder, maybe?
Perhaps.
But people can switch sides, of course. We got Tight Lips, Legs, Mr. Cossington, Blue-Haired Lawyer, Ruth Powers, and Jimbo. I guess the only one I'm sad about is Willie. But, hey, again, we're not a political podcast, and we can have friends on both sides, right, Steve?
Sure. Yeah. They're the same.
Maybe not this year, but maybe in the next couple years if things are better.
Maybe.
But what I'm wondering is, since they depict all the right-wingers in red and then blue is the liberals, why are Lisa and Bart wearing red? I mean...
That's a good point, because later on you can see like Otto in blue. I'm like, that looks weird just to see him on blue and blue. But then I'm like, oh yeah, he's liberal. But yeah, right. Lisa especially.
There's another person in blue, which we'll get to later, and I question it.
Okay.
As the Red Menace makes a snack out of the building's solar panels, another creature is born from the water. This one is a raging blue monster who tosses a ship-hauling plastic straw, much to Lisa's disappointment, and to my disappointment, and when the ship is thrown, it doesn't make an explosion.
I know.
So wait, so I'm wondering that did the kaiju throw it so far because it looked like it landed like on a mountain or over the mountain to just land back in the water?
I think so, which still pollutes everything.
All right, here's a new punch-up. Instead of the explosion, he threw it, and then it lands back in the water, and all they had to do is add an animation of a splash.
Yeah. So
those turtles will still die.
Yeah, I like that.
And how come, so just thinking of that now, how come Shredder and Krang just haven't thrown plastic straws down the sewers of Manhattan? They'll probably kill the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's a good point, yeah.
All right, call up, who are the turtle guys? Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. They created them. Call them up and tell them that we know how to kill the turtles.
I'll call Chuck Lorre up, too, so I can write another stanza to that song.
Great. Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, as squeaky-voiced teen Disco Stu and Artie Pyle cheer the liberal Goliath, it crosses its arms in smug satisfaction. So the Blue Beast then approaches a rifle factory, and Lisa assumes that it will destroy the manufacturer to help end gun violence. Instead, the creature emits a beam that sends a communication to the phones of several Springfield liberals. And Steve, your phone's going off.
Oh, no.
Friend, Blue Monster here. Are you as concerned as I am about the Senate race in Nevada? Donate to Act Blue Monster. Oh.
Quick clip, but, very timely, and I can't wait till my text messages don't blow up every day from candidates.
Yeah, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've gotten 10 since Saturday, and it's Monday, not including the phone calls that I never pick up, so yeah.
Oh, is that what those phone numbers?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, because they don't come up as scam likely. It's just like some like local state numbers. I'm like, what is this? I don't want to answer.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't contribute money to political causes that are important to you. You should, I guess. But just know that it comes at a cost, and that is
Yeah.
Never being left alone ever again.
Right. Yeah. My mistake. I'm never donating again. That was 4 years ago.
Right.
All right, Steve, like I said, Springfield Liberals, we have a comic book guy, Dedrick Tatum, Cookie Kwan, Miss Hoover, Miss Payton. The one I'm curious about is Dedrick Tatum, because he's supposed to be a parody of Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, I think, has been on the record that he's a Trump guy, isn't he?
It would make sense for him to be it, because they're both, silly little guys, we'll say.
I wouldn't say that about Mike Tyson, Steve. He still kick your ass.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I'm no Mr. Beast, so he could probably beat me up.
I mean, maybe it's just because he's been hit the head one too many times. Like, what's with their fascination with Tyson? He's a confirmed rapist, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a huge advocate for marijuana.
Right.
We liked him in those movies and that cartoon show, right?
Right.
The Society.
Yeah, we gave him, a chance to be himself in a movie that people called a comedy that wasn't that funny. And then, yeah, he had his own adult film show where he solved mysteries. And he's still, an unrepentant rapist and probably an animal abuser, too, because they know that he's had, owned a lot of animals, and he's just probably not a good person.
And also, we'll root for him if he fights, Jake Paul or one of those guys?
Right, because he's not as bad as that person, kind of, but probably... It's weird.
The lesser of two Weevils, Steve.
Bowl.
Weevil, Steve. Not evil, Weevil.
Ah, yes. Well, that red monster destroys the gay steel mill, causing one of the employees to shout, "Oh, be nice." And not to be outdone, the blue monster crushes a fracking company to pieces, and then proceeds to sort those pieces into their appropriate disposal sites, be it recycling, compost, or landfill.
A fun callback to the steel mill.
Yeah.
Steel mill, yeah. So the two Goliaths then face off with Blue Monster shooting out a liberal arts array made of books, while the Red Beast responds with fiery book banning blast. Very funny. Blue offers a freezing snowflake breath, and the Red shoots Tim Allen DVDs.
Frightening.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not the good ones. It's not like Galaxy Quest.
Right. No, it's his stand-up being Caveman says what?
And all of Last Man Standing.
Yeah. With bonus extra features that are less woke. So as the battle continues, Professor Frink announces to the crowd standing in the wreckage that he has an idea. An LED light bulb accompanies his thought, which he finds less than satisfying. Despite this, Frink shares that he has created a giant robot to combat the political monstrosities, but it can only be powered by togetherness, specifically by the love of two siblings working in perfect harmony.
A woman who happens to be a mechanical engineer offers herself and her brother, who just happens to be a Navy SEAL. So they'd be honored to fight until the S from Springfield sign crushes them into a bloody pulp, meaning Bart and Lisa will have to do those twerps over there, as Frink calls them.
Mm-hmm.
So they put on their suits and board a giant purple mech. Bart once again tells his sister that he feels that her beliefs are lame, but is excited to be inside of a robot. Hey, you and Elon Musk, Bart.
It's very true. Who needs values when you have a robot? So inside that bot, Bart and Lisa are further equipped with their exosuits, helmets, and a quick toothbrushing session for good measure. So the siblings struggle to control the mech at first, each saying that the other one sucks. After they remove a smushed Otto, who's dressed in blue, from the bottom of their foot, Bart and Lisa agree to work together in the name of society. Lisa sees that divisiveness has made the world go mad, and she's shocked that there are only two monsters. And as she says this, more monsters emerge, such as
4chansaurus,
Facebookzilla,
Mecha Reddit,
and the most frightening of them all, Rogan.
I guess the only one I'm going to hang out on is Mecha Reddit.
Yeah, there's parts of Mecha Reddit that aren't so bad, and some of them are even downright supportive. So yeah, that's the only one. But yeah, 4chansaurus, real bad. Facebookzilla is old.
Yeah, well, here's the thing with Reddit is you can just control all the content you see. So
that's true.
I don't, most of my Reddit is all movie, TV show stuff.
Right. Yeah, I have word game puzzles and weird sci-fi and TV shows.
Well, Bart and Lisa see their father stuck on the ground between the two political rivals. So the monsters step on Lard Lad's statue, causing the giant donut to surround Homer. He's then kicked, and as he rolls down the street, he apologizes to the donut for eating all of its babies. And Bart and Lisa laugh at their father stuck in the fried pastry and decided to work together to kick some ass and take down the cable news fear monsters playground style.
So as Lisa gives the blue monster a noogie, Bart causes the mechbot to grow extra arms and give both the red and the blue monsters purple nurples. He then uses a school bus as a skateboard, while Lisa uses a wrecking ball to tie them up. Seeing this, the other kaiju fall away in fear. They then address the ding-dongs of Springfield, telling them that the monsters have been stopped for now. But if they allowed them to feed on fear and rage, they'll return even stronger. So Lisa pleads with people to remember what they all have in common, and to reject the echo chambers of cable news and social media.
So the people all agree to Lisa's sentiments, but we jump ahead to 3 news cycles later, where the city is left in smoldering wreckage. Lisa and Bart watch from their mech, and the red and blue monsters continue to fight it out. So Lisa remorsefully remarks that civilization had a good run, but Bart isn't so sure. Lisa liked the concert halls, while Bart enjoyed those trampoline gyms. They both can agree, though, that the internet was a mistake.
It's very true.
And that's that. Steve, we were never young enough to enjoy trampoline gyms.
That's true. They seem like they'd be fun until, you broke a leg or something.
Right, or jump in midair and collide with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's when you get your first boner. And
what if you get trapped in the person, though? Like, you're jumping and you have a boner, and then, boink, and then you guys are stuck together.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun kid show.
You watch different kid shows than I do.
Steve, I guess we don't really discuss the segment after we've talked about it, but there we go. Some fun jokes, huh?
Yeah, I like, how they, made fun of both sides. And yeah, we'll talk about it later, but I appreciate that. Yeah.
Should we start the second segment?
Yes, and our second horrific tale, entitled The Fall of the House of Mounty, begins at the Burns & Company Excellent Corn Syrup Factory, where a raven who looks an awful like Bart flies by, much like, in the first Treehouse horror, also known as the Simpsons Halloween special, which, he read the Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, which is fitting because this is an homage to Poe's Fall of the House of Usher. Inside that factory, Smithers blows a horn signifying that the work in the corn syrup factory is done for the day. And the workers cheer until Smithers blows another horn, letting him know that work on Burns' mansion is just starting and will go on through the night.
So as Homer, Carl, and Lenny work on Monty's palatial estate, Lenny wonders if the job will ever be done. After all, both his father and grandfather died working on the mansion. So the camera pans to a deceased tombstone of Lenny's kin. Lenny Leonard, Sr., was sawed in half, and Randall Leonard fell into concrete and then pulled out as a comical statue. So as Carl astutely points out, that's a lot to read. Homer tries to find a silver lining to the situation, reminding his fellow workers that the company's Thanksgiving dinner is that night. So Burns welcomes his employees to the feast, but not before a little tradition.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Welcome to my elaborate and needlessly whimsical mansionola. Dinner is served.
Odds and bodkins. I've never seen such a sumptuous repast.
But before we dine, a little Thanksgiving tradition. A wishbone poll. If you win, this feast is yours. If I win, no weekends or holidays off ever again starting today.
Deal!
Send out your best poll man.
Leave it to me, lads. You're looking at the 4-time Aberdeen Boone Yankin champion.
You've prepared the wishing for killer so I can't lose?
Scored and ready, sir.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now, Craig, were you ever a bone-pulling champion?
Not since my high school days, Steve.
Ah, yes. Coach did reward you a lot for bone-pulling. I want to point out that this is the second week in a row we've had weird flexing finger muscle sight gags. There's one last week, too. I don't remember what exactly the context was, but it's just funny. But anyway, Willie pulls the wishbone, and Burns rises and floats to the ground like a sheet of paper flying from the typewriter of the Stephen J. Cannell production. Does anybody get that? I doubt it.
I mean, we've had, I think, a couple Stephen J. Cannell parodies, right?
Yeah, I think so. I realize that it's an old reference, but
I wonder if, if they watch like MeTV, there's probably a bunch of Stephen J. Cannell TV shows on that network, right?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe if they're watching like an old, let's say, Murder, She Wrote or something.
Yeah. When are we going to do our Murder, She Wrote podcast, Steve?
Soon enough. We'll get it on the Patreon.
Okay, thanks.
So the workers cheer and then sit down to enjoy their holiday meal. But before they can chow down, Byrne drops the table into a hole in the ground, and it seemingly falls to an endless abyss. So Mo jumps in after the food, shouting, "My peas!" After enjoying his peas, Mose falls on the cruddy rocks, saying that it was worth it, and then he probably dies.
Well, the other factory workers watch in horror as Burns tells them to get back to work. And once they're gone, maid Agnes Skinner speaks up, calling Monty a fool and reminding him that a promise made up on Thanksgiving wishbone may never be broken. And Burns feels that it's just an old wives' tale, but Agnes responds that it has nothing to do with their divorce. So Agnes goes on to tell Monty that he is cursed to be tormented by the souls of all that he has wronged for the rest of his days. And seeing Agnes condemn him with an eternity of cursed damnation, Monty is reminded why he married Agnes in the first place, and the two kiss. Now again, 2 weeks in a row where there's like a Agnes-Monty thing going on, right?
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Agnes is, she's fun, Steve. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Lamb of God, more like kissing lady who kisses a lot. I didn't have anywhere to go with that. Okay. In the corn syrup factory, Homer looks at a steaming vat of the sweet stuff and is reminded of his voracious hunger. So he reaches down to get a steaming cup of corn syrup, but then proceeds to fall in, burning his skin. He reaches for a chain to climb out of safety, but it just pours out more molten corn syrup across the factory, burning his fellow coworkers. So as the factory employees spill on the city into a sea of corn syrup, and Monty enjoys being all alone on the holidays, and before retiring to bed, he considers grabbing a nice, wet treat when something seems amiss.
Perhaps a sip of bihydrogenated oxygen before bed. Who's there? Show yourself. Must have been the wind. Yes, an indoor wind. Completely natural. Supernatural, even. A pair of normal occurrences. What is that eerie scratching?
What is it, Steve?
I don't know.
Did you not watch the episode?
I mean, I did, but I wasn't paying attention.
Ah, okay.
But I do really like the animation in this segment because, like, the exterior shots are very, like, 60s, like Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And if you look, there's even, like, flecks in the footage, like it's an old film. It makes for a good mood.
I knew you were going to say that, Steve.
I'm glad.
But yeah, it is quite enjoyable. Because this is called The Fall of the House of Burns, right? So is this a parody of that Fall of House of Usher?
Yeah.
You said that like you know what I'm talking about.
I'm just like, I'm not fully aware of the cartoon. I know the story.
The TV series.
I thought it was about a disgraced pop singer who found Justin Bieber.
That's what I thought too.
Like after P. Diddy's whole deal, we're going to have something about Usher.
Exciting, Steve. But yeah, you're right. The animation and art direction of this segment's very well done. Burton gets out of bed, candle in hand, to inspect the source of the mysterious scratching. So he lifts his curtain to find a branch blowing in the wind and lets out a sigh of relief. He then turns around to find the decaying ghostly corpse of Homer, drooling and moaning with hunger.
Oof. Monty runs to his bathroom, slashes some water on his face, and attempts to pull himself together. He then looks in the mirror, only to find the ghost of Wiggum reaching out to him, shouting, "Jump scare!" So Monty backs away in fear, but Willie's ghost pops up from the bathtub, also shouting, "Jump scare!" So Byrne locks his bedroom door and heads to a hallway where Mo appears upside down, shouting, "Mo scare!" before eerily asking where his peas are.
Yeah, where are his peas?
Gotta have his peas.
Burns is then pushed over a banister and falls, landing on his ex-wife, Agnes, killing her. He runs into his study, opens another door, and finds it leads to a solid brick wall. He reopens the door he came through, only to discover yet another brick wall. So he squeezes through a tiny door and runs down the hall where he is once again confronted by Homer's ghost. So Spear Homer screams in fear when he sees other ghosts, but Mo calms him down, saying that it won't happen again. And Homer turns, and Mo is once again in front of him, shouting, "Jump scare!" as skeleton arms reach out of his skull mouth and eye holes.
So Monty is surrounded by ghosts who are starving, but he figures he can end this curse by simply feeding his deceased workers. So he removes a book from his bookcase, which reveals a secret room that leads into the kitchen, where Monty presents a mighty spread of food. The ghouls pass through the feast, causing it to rot and grow maggots. And then they grow closer and closer to Monty, telling him that the only meal that they'll sate their satanic appetite is his soul.
So Monty runs out of the room, slams the door behind, and then pushes a burning fireplace in front of the door. He is then greeted by the floating ghost head of Agnes, who tells him that he starved his workers and exploited them for millions of dollars, selling the corn syrup that will embiggen an unsuspecting nation for generations to come. A painting of Monty riding a horse changes to show a horrible image of the future. An obese Homer riding a scooter while sipping from a 64-ounce Big Slurp soda.
Another one of those big slurp sodas like we had in the first segment. So as the ghastly ghosts close in on Burns, he warns them that they can't eat a soul if he's already set ablaze in corn oil. He then pours an oil lantern all over his body, saying that he can't be tormented if he's already dead. And then he jumps into the fire. But as demons reach for him, Monty's reminded that hell exists before shouting that he wants a cash bar at his funeral. And so the mansion is burned to the ground, and later, Sideshow Mel and Wayland Smithers examine the wreckage.
Good Lord, Wayland, look at this!
What could have driven such a great man to burn himself in the house he loved?
And on the day after Thanksgiving, too. Truly, it will henceforth be known as Black Friday. A day that will serve as a warning to never mistreat workers again, no matter how good the deal is.
So is this the true origin of Black Friday, Steve?
I think so, yeah.
I thought that was a creative way to end this episode, or segment.
I think it was nice because I had heard that there was going to be a Thanksgiving segment, and I feel like a couple years ago they did the best possible Thanksgiving segment with the Thanksgiving of horror and all those stories, so I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work out, but I think the way they did this is really nice because it is a great spooky story, and you do tie in Thanksgiving and Black Friday in a really nice way.
I agree.
Plus they said embiggens, which is always nice.
Yes. Well, Steve, that was our second segment. It's time to go to our final and third segment, Steve. And so our final scary story to tell in any sort of lighting is entitled Denim and begins at a men's plus-size clothing store, The Generous Cut, which offers pants for the amply rumped. So inside, Homer tells his old pal Barney Gumble that he's not sure if he's really a jeans kind of guy. And Barney feels that a swinging bachelor like Homer needs flashy pants, especially if he wants a shot at that cute waitress. So Homer looks over to Irv's non-canonical diner where he sees Marge serving Mel. So he tells himself that there isn't a pair of pants in the universe that'll make Marge give a loser like him a time of day.
Ooh. Suddenly, there's a mysterious bolt of energy around the store, and in the alley, a cosmic zipper appears, unzips, and out walks a pair of jeans that are, they look like actual, photorealistic jeans. With the weird Marge going through a doorway sound effect that we've all discovered, the pants slide under the door, and in a dressing room, Homer is sad to say that they don't make pants for the blubber positive with curves like his.
So we've talked a lot about Homer's pants on this podcast.
Yeah.
We've always assumed, is he just wearing a polo shirt and blue jeans?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, we know these Treehouse of Horrors aren't canonical, but does this imply that, Homer just wears really light blue trousers, not khakis, but, dress pants?
Yeah, I was wondering because when I found out about the Denim segment, I wasn't sure if this would reveal that he was in fact wearing jeans the whole time or not. So I guess this does explain it, but it is curious. You don't see blue pants often outside of postal workers or, more uniform type people. So it is interesting that you'd wear blue pants and a white polo shirt on a daily basis.
All right, I'm going to go on very popular website that sells everything, name similar to a river.
Yes.
And I'm going to look up light blue men's dress pants and see what color we got here. I mean, it makes sense that he wears them to work, and then maybe it's not a polo shirt and it is a button down.
Yeah, it could be a short sleeve button up shirt.
Right. Look, Steve, there's plenty of Homer style pants, I think. We are talking about Halloween, and And with Halloween comes costumes.
Indeed.
I've been told. So I think if you're going to do a Homer Simpson's cosplay, Steve, I sent you a link through our Discord here if you look down on the stream there. These pants could easily serve as a Homer Simpson pant. Heck, even the model in this looks like he's wearing a Homer Simpson outfit. So I'm going to say that, yeah, Homer just likes light blue.
Oh, yeah.
Casual trousers.
Yeah, I'm looking at a pair of Dickies royal blue pants also. That would be perfect for, yeah. So, yeah, I guess he does like light blue pants.
I think I'm just going to get these pairs and a white button-down dress shirt.
Yeah.
And then just walk around and see if anyone... Like, are you just wearing Homer clothes?
You should get a green dress for friend of the show, Heather.
I'll get like a blue onesie for my baby.
Exactly, yeah.
That would be kind of funny. But not wear it at a costume party.
No, just like to the grocery store or whatever.
Yeah, like everyone shopping. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do this.
I walk by the donut section and be like, oh.
Literally just buy beer donuts.
Maybe some pork chops.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
I like it.
And just see if anyone... I mean, here's the problem is I always go through the U scan, but I guess I'll have to go through an actual checker.
Right.
Making me interact with strangers, Steve. I hate you.
I'm sorry. I hate to do that to myself or to you, so yeah, my apologies.
Apology accepted.
Well, the strange space pants join Homer's pile, and when he tries the jeans on, he's amazed. Homer can finally see where his butt ends and his legs begin, rather than being one big blah. He decides to take his sexy ass for a spin, going across the street to visit Marge, when an odd voice speaks to him.
I don't know what to say to her.
Why don't you tell her how attractive you find her vulnerable, uncovered legs?
Who said that?
I did.
My jeans?
I'll take all the cash in the register. And is that a chocolate chip scone?
Raisin?
Oh, no, just the cash.
Oh, I should do something heroic, but my raging cowardice makes that difficult. Wait, what's happening?
Passing out. Denim. Softer than it looks.
Oh, you saved me.
I did? I did! I guess heroism is in my genes.
The fuzz. We gotta leg it.
Steve, are you a scone man?
I love a scone, actually. Yes.
Even with raisins?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think there's better dried fruit that you can put into a scone, like a dried apricot or a blueberry, but yeah, I'd eat a raisin scone.
Cranberry?
Yeah, that sounds good. Cranberry orange, classic. Maple walnut, great.
Aren't scones a little too dry?
But, that's why they're so good, because you have it with, a cup of coffee, some tea. It's a great accompaniment. It's like a biscuit, but it's, sweet. It's a great pastry.
Explain biscuit to our UK listener, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Not like a cookie, which makes sense because they're cooked. Actually, they're baked, so a bakey. But a biscuit in America is like a savory scone that's full of butter and that you can put fried chicken or gravy on and be happy.
Where do my baked beans go?
Oh, boy. Well, since they're in a weird tomato sauce, you can put them on toast or shove them up your ass. But
And how many cuts of the pig do I put on my plate for a full English breakfast?
All of them, and then a weird blood sausage that you call pudding, which both me and Bill Cosby are very confused about.
Bill Cosby.
America's daddy.
Well, Steve, as the police grow closer, the jeans make Homer run out of the diner, down the street, over passing cars, and even over Carl, who notices the new pants. So Homer then hides in an alley, hanging upside down from a fire escape as cop cars zoom through. He wants to know just what the hell is going on. And after jumping to the ground, the pants that he's filled out fill him in.
I am Denim, a bioadaptive symbiote.
I said, but what?
I'm magical pants, okay? I've traveled from my home planet, Ranglor, in the 501 galaxy, because it is in the throes of a climate catastrophe. Toxins have leached into our precipitation, turning my kind into acid-washed jeans.
But isn't that cool?
It's never been cool. It's made us weak, unsightly, and worst of all, outdated. To survive on your planet, our species requires a human host, and my host is you. Your undercarriage is so wide, and your methane exhaust so nourishing. 1 chili dog, extra beans.
Yeah, you got it, Talking Crutch.
But what if I don't want to be your host? What's in it for my butt?
I can give you the thing you want most in the world.
Whatever you want, Talking Crutch. A quick question, yeah, before we continue. Why was Homer running? He foiled a robbery, right? So essentially, he's like a hero. So why is he running from the cops?
I was kind of wondering the same thing. Like, I'll admit that I have not seen the recent Venom movies, which is weird because I am a Spider-Man guy and I do like Tom Hardy when he has a funny voice. But I don't know why the Pants would be afraid of the police. Like, I mean, sure, there's an inherent fear of the, police industrial complex, but I feel like Denim wouldn't know that. Especially because you would think that they would back the blue because they're, blue jeans.
Right. Pants afraid of the police. I think it goes back to the 1980s when actor Joey Pantoliano tried to become a bass player for the band The Police. But Sting was like, no, you have sex for a short amount of time and we can't have that.
Wait, was that a pants pun in there when he said a short amount of time?
It might have been.
I like it.
This is just the comedy. You get 300 episodes into this podcast.
That's right. Speaking of comedy, I do enjoy that he's from the planet Rangalore in the 501 galaxy. That's good stuff.
Sounds like a Mel Brooks joke.
It does, yeah.
Wasn't that in Spaceballs? Like, I'm from the Ford galaxy or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So in the club, Homer finds Marge on the dance floor, surrounded by a bunch of men. Denim tells him to let the G's do the talking, and then forces him over to Marge. He asks if she'd like to dance, and she thinks about it, but despite the fact that he saved her life, she politely says no.
I thought that was really funny of Marge. He's just like, oh, you saved my life, but no. So with the power of Denim, Homer busts an impressive move. He's shocked to learn that he could dance, and then points his finger in the air like John Travolta did in Saturday Night Fever. And then Denim tells him to never do that. So Homer then performs some Russian step dancing, a running man, a little tap dance, and even a break dance. And the music all changes with the dance. So Marge has never seen such late dancing and was so impressed she didn't bother looking at Homer's top half, but she's sure that was good too.
Sure. So Denim tells Homer to dip Marge, but he whispers that he only knows how to dip chips. The Pants then trip Marge, and Homer catches her in his arm, and they share a lustful look. So they go back to his place, and they make out on his couch. Things heat up, and Marge tries to remove Homer's pants, but Denim won't allow it. So Homer excuses himself to go to the bathroom, and later, their relationship progresses, but Marge is still hungry for one thing.
Dick? You got me this far. Why don't you let her get to the good stuff?
I cannot be disengaged from my host for long or I'll perish. But don't worry, I will help you complete your mating ritual.
That was the most amazing outer course of my life.
Well, I like to think I'm something of an expert at friction-based rub-a-dub.
You are. Homer is so sweet, but he won't take his pants off.
It's been 2 months. Tell him to drop jeans and fulfill your dreams.
I'm so happy I moved in, but it does kind of bother me that you and I have been stuck between second and third base. Sexually.
You know what touch I really enjoy in that clip? It shows that Marge has moved into Homer's bachelor pad. And the first thing that she does is she hangs up the corn curtains that are eventually going to be in their kitchen at home, just to make it feel more homey at Homie's home. So that's a really nice touch.
I knew you were going to say that, Steve, when I was watching this episode.
I'm glad that you know me so well.
I, too, enjoyed that scenario that was played out. Steve, will they actually be together?
I don't know. I mean, that all that dry rubbing, it's no good. But Homer tries to explain the situation to Marge, but as he tries to tell her the truth, the Pants force him to walk out of the apartment. And later at Moe's, Denim tells Homer that Marge is trying to break up Man and Slacks. And Homer thinks about it, and he thanks Denim for all the good that it's done for him, and all the good times that they had, but he thinks it might be time to fart in other pants.
Oh, man. Denim replies that no other pants will flatter Homer's ass in the same way, but Homer is determined to shut both of the voice in his head and the voice in his pants the only way he knows how, with beer. So he chugs a bottle of Duff with one hand and pours his beer down the pants' mouth with the other.
So the following day, Marge finds Homer passed out on the bed with his pants unzipped. Seeing this as an opportunity, Marge removes the pants. But when Homer awakes, he is shocked to find a surprise from Marge.
Khakis? Where are my jeans?
Where they belong, in the washing machine. And I really love how you look in these sexy beige dad pants.
You don't know what you've done.
Never wash quality denim.
These stalkers meant nothing. They came on to me.
What the hell's happening?
Homer is my host, not yours, and you're about to die.
Steve, do you wash your quality denim?
I knew you were going to ask that.
I'm glad you know me so well.
So I have, I think, 5 pairs of the same jeans. They're all just the same pair of black jeans, and I wear 2 to work and 3 to not work. And the work jeans will get dirty, and I'll wash them weekly. And the other ones I try not to wash at all, because you're not supposed to. But like monthly or yearly.
Oh, yeah. I don't really care. I wash my denim.
I mean, it's fine. Like, there are people who like get like salvaged, like really fine denim that is like very expensive and like hundreds of dollars for a pair of jeans. And those people are weird about it and they don't wash them. Seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, and I think I saw the like the CEO of Levi's jeans talks about how to wash his jeans, he just pours vodka on it and then throws it in a freezer and calls it good. It's like, I'm not wasting my vodka on my denim.
No, that's no good. And I love the feeling of a fresh pair of jeans out of the dryer. Like, that's one of the joys of life. And so is vodka. But like why would you waste those two things when you would be walking around in dirty pants?
Yeah.
I know pants don't get that dirty, but like, I don't know. It just feels better to have clean jeans.
All right. Also, before we continue, in the beginning of this segment, when Denim was talking about the acid wash that was destroying his planet, I forgot to ask, were you an acid wash jean wearer or at any point in your life?
I feel like in the 80s, I would see my siblings who were older than I was wear them and I'd be like, hey, that looks cool. But as I grew up, I stopped wearing first acid wash jeans and light colored jeans. And then I stopped wearing blue jeans altogether. And now, because I want to dress like a cartoon character, I only wear black jeans. That's the only thing I do. What about you?
Yeah, I think the same thing. You know, the acid wash in the 80s. You know, maybe like in second grade, and that was it.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, like so you're no blue jean, not like a dark at all?
No, I used to be, and then I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it felt like it was wrong on me. So it's just only black.
Yeah, I'm more of a dark blue denim guy, but there were phases in my life where it was like the light blue, and you know, I've had a pair of gray and brown.
Sure, yeah.
Are you a fan of like colored jeans? Like, I know your basic denim is always like a black or a blue, but if there's like a green or a orange, would you wear a brown or a gray?
I would definitely wear a brown denim because I like the color brown a lot. I would probably wear a green denim if it's the right shade of green.
Not like a Kelly green.
Probably not a Kelly green, no. Nor a neon green. But yeah, like I think I'm still like in the darker spectrum of colors. But yeah, I think I would wear that. Would you like wear like a bright blue jean?
Well, we already discussed I'm going to get the pair of bright blue like golf pants that Homer wears. Yeah. A light blue. I guess it depends. Like maybe light blue denim will be in favor again for me. Could be.
Yeah.
What about a white denim?
Oh, no, I don't wear white. Because I'm a clumsy person who spills a lot, so I just refuse to wear anything white.
But I'm taking you to the Mustard Festival next week, and I got you a pair of white denim and a white button-down shirt.
All right, fine. We can go. Well, I'll wear it then, only if we can go to the rib factory afterwards.
Absolutely. All right, let's finish this segment up, Steve.
Alrighty.
Well, Denim puts himself on Homer's legs and chases after Marge, squeezing her between Homer's legs while Marge suffocates. The Homer punches his own crotch, trying to break Denim free. Thinking quickly, Homer squeezes a lemon onto the jeans, and the Denim screams in pain, shouting, "Acid! So painfully 80s." Will that happen if I get lemon juice on my denim?
I think maybe to an extent. Like, it's citric acid. It'll burn.
Crap. All right, Steve. So after we go to the mustard and rib factory, I got you a pair of black denim pants, and we're going to go to the lemon squeezy contest.
Cool.
Followed by the salt touching factory.
All right, but can we go to the bleach swimming pool afterwards?
Only if you're never nude.
Alrighty.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so Marge breaks free and runs away from the pants. As Denim chases after her, Homer stabs a knife into the jeans and subsequently into his own leg. So Homer passes out in pain, and the jeans slip off and make a break for it. They try to fit on Comic Book Guy, who is wearing a big slurp soda. It's a good run through all three segments. The pants can't fit the legs. So Denim then goes on to Selma and finds her legs to be so hairy, like being on a sweaty cactus. And so he then hops on to Disco Stew, who is riding on roller skates.
And finally, the pants put themselves on Marge and forces to walk up a building. As she ascends past a window, an onlooking supportive group of spit takers and honestly look on, mouths full of water, and the instructor urges them to show restraint. I'm just going to say that's like my favorite joke of this.
It's the best, yeah, no doubt about it.
I knew it was going to be your favorite, Steve.
Of course.
Once on the roof, Denim opens its mouth and gets ready to attack Marge when a pantsless Homer appears.
Stop! I'm never gonna let anything come between us again. These past weeks have been the best of my life. I can't live without you.
Oh, honey, I love you too.
Yeah, I wasn't talking to you.
Yes! Thank you, Jesus!
Deep down, I knew it all along.
Really?
Have you stopped following her on Facebook?
Yes. No.
Thank you for being honest.
It was nice of you to let her live.
Well, my species will need as many hosts as possible.
Wait, what?
What happens now, Steve?
Well, another cosmic zipper opens above the Earth, and several pairs of dance emerge to find hosts and wreak pant-based havoc. And that's our episode.
Wow. I'd be okay with that way of ending.
Yeah, sure.
You get to talk to your crotch all day. I mean, I usually do, but, this time I get to hear him voice back.
Exactly. Stop hitting me so much.
All right, Steve, I'm going to need to take a break and gather my thoughts and come back and wrap it up, all right?
Sounds great.
All right, we'll be right back. We are back. All right, Steve, let's wrap up this year's spookiest episode of The Simpsons. That's right, Treehouse of Horror 35. We'll do our usual bits. We're going to rank each of these segments in our preferred order. 1 being best, 3 being last best, and 2 being in the middle.
Fair enough.
And then, give a review, talk about all of our fun bits we loved, and, find out what we're watching next week. But before we do that, the season is of scaring. But, Steve, the season of scares for us as of this record is over. That's right, because it's the season of giving right now. We're knee-deep in the Christmas season here in America.
Ho, ho, ho! They'll say.
Go to your stores, and it's all Christmas. All the movies that they're showing on TV now, it's all Christmas stuff. Christmas is here right after we say trick or treat. Boo, here's Christmas. So that being said, Steve, I'm going to give you a gift. 3 gifts, that is, because there was 3 segments. So 1 gift from each segment. That's how that works, right?
Makes sense to me.
All right, so the first segment was very political. And I thought, Steve, as of this record, we still have 1 more day left to vote. So I just took my neighbor's mail-in ballots and handed them to you. And you can go ahead and vote for them. I'm sure it's legal.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Here's all their mail-in ballots, and vote as much as you want because you're allowed to, according to Elon Musk's mother.
That's right. See, it's good because I'm not from the same state as you are, so it doesn't matter. So I can vote in many states, so it'll be fine.
That's right. Just make sure you vote in the swingest of states that this America has. And that's, of course, Hawaii. You know, it's all about Hawaii's vote. They matter.
Early and often, that's Hawaii's motto.
And then also a 64-ounce big gulp.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
So in the second segment, well, you know, before we get to those holidays of Christmas, we have to do that American feast known as Thanksgiving. So I'm going to give you something that at least one of the Springfieldites really wanted, but will never get. And that is a big bowl of peas.
Oh.
Along with a 32-ounce big gulp.
Of course.
Of corn syrup.
Ooh.
Yeah. And finally, in the third segment, this is something that was pretty obvious that, you know, because it's about denim. And it's something that you pointed out in Denim. And we talked about it in this segment of Denim.
This of it.
And that is your very own pair of corn cob drapes.
Oh, nice. You shouldn't have. I love it.
I'm surprised. I wonder if those corn cob drapes exist out there so you can buy them to spruce up your kitchen like Marge would.
I'm sure that there's some crafty person on Etsy who is making them.
All right. I believe you. No need to look it up. And followed up by a big gulp full of venom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right. Now give me presents.
Alrighty. Well, Craig, I also got you three presents from each segment. From the first segment, I got you some extra loud bullets so you can shoot them in the air. Whenever a progressive issue pisses you off, you can just shoot in the air extra loud.
I will be shooting them in the air probably tomorrow during election.
One or another, I'm sure.
Either to celebrate our democracy or defend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
From our second segment, I got you a fancy treat of bihydrogenated oxygen that you can enjoy before bed. It's really just water. And then from the final segment, you mentioned it. I got you a pair of pants, but not denim because you don't want denim. You already have denim. So I'm going to get you Homer's blue pants because he doesn't need them anymore because he found the denim.
And Marge wants him wearing those khakis. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I got you a big gulp.
Hey, that's just the one I gave you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Steve. What made you laugh?
Oh, well, we talked about it, but of course, in the final segment, the Spit Takers Anonymous, probably my favorite joke of the episode. I liked Carl saying, when Lenny was talking about his grandfather and father dying horrible deaths, him mentioning that it was a lot to read, breaking the fourth wall. And from the first segment, Bart and Lisa's bickering about Bart not being necessarily right-wing, but being anti-Lisa. I thought that was fun. And just the general political skewering that segment did, I thought was fun. And if I had to give a most valuable jokester, I think that I would give that to Mo from the second segment, just because I liked his desire for peas. His penis, if you will.
And how do we get peas, Steve?
With a knife.
I agree. The joke of the Spitter's Take Anonymous was my favorite as well. But I do like a lot of the jabs that were going on, political stuff in the first segment. I loved how the liberal monster was shooting out the books, and then the flames just for the book burning from the conservative one was really funny. I also like how the LED light bulb that Freak thinks of, when he's like has an idea. I'm just like, these aren't even worth it. It was really funny to me too. In that segment where Lisa and Bart are still bickering, but the one thing that brings them together is Homer being trapped by a donut, rolling down the street, and they both laughing at that, and then finally teaming up. That was great. In the second segment, the ghost gags were very scary and funny. This was a little bit of a frightful of a segment, and graphic, very graphic too. Yeah, the third segment, the Denim, like we were said about the anonymous one, and I also liked just the visual of Homer feeding Denim the beer from his crotch, and then also Raphael, sarcastic guy, like feeding the wiener to his crotch. Like, here's one wiener for the crotch. I'm not sure that's exactly what it said, but that gag was quite hilarious. Steve, put them in order. What did you like about the segments?
I know we're not a political podcast, and this was a very political segment, but the first segment probably made me laugh the most, especially skewering the blue monster, the way that it was like really smug after doing something, and then like sorting the wreckage of the fracking factory, the general divisiveness. I don't know that I'm not going to get into my own political beliefs, but I thought that was a lot of fun. So I think that was my number one. The Denim, I think, was well done. Animation of the actual Denim, especially on the Denim planet, was really good. So I think that's going to be my number two. And I think the second segment does a great job of capturing like a classic spooky thing and is kind of truly horrifying. I think the Denim episode captures a movie parody that's really good, and actually, like, coincidentally enough, in the zeitgeist, because that is the number one movie in the box office. And I think the first one, is fun, making fun of the times that we live in. So I think that all three kind of have their own qualities, and they all three are weirdly timely and weirdly relevant and a lot of fun. But yeah, I think for my rankings, first one first, the third one second, and Fall of the House of Monty third. What about you, Craig?
It's tough because I like to look at the Treehouse of Horror as something that I'm going to watch at least once a year during the spooky season of Halloween, right?
Right.
And the first segment I'm hesitant on. I'm not sure how I feel about it because is it too timely? And I'm thinking about, they don't really make specific references to names of political parties.
Right.
They just say the conservative and the liberal side. And I feel like if we watch that segment 10 years from now, we're still going to be talking about those same issues, or it'll still be the same. So I think it does have that longevity. Like, there was the segment from like 4 years ago, I think, with like voting for Biden or Trump, the Treehouse of Horror episode. And like, that is of its time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this one, the first segment, while there is a lot of fun jokes, I think we laugh a lot into it. I'm concerned, like, will this still stand the test of time? Depending on the way this country will become because of this record, we're not, we don't know. And will those two parties exist 10 years from now, right? And that sort of the same, way we talk about American politics. Also, does this translate overseas?
That's true.
The second segment, based on the Edgar Allan Poe, right? The Fall of the House of Usher. I think visually it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right about those. Like, maybe could be like my least favorite, but I appreciate that segment so much. And I love the end joke of being Black Friday. And then the third segment being, of course, the Venom parody. You're right, the timeliness of the Venom movie. But I feel like, I'm not sure, those Venom movies might stand the test of time. Do they go down with like some of the best superhero movies? I don't think so. I've seen the first two. I couldn't tell you what happened in them. I've only seen them once, and I haven't seen this one yet. And I'll wait. I'll wait till it's on VHS. When it comes out, Blockbuster in a few months.
Of course.
But I think you're right. The animation with the live Denim was well done. So the one thing that I think I enjoy about this Treehouse of Horror, well, there is some like timely things, but I think they're not so specific to like in our like culture that it won't last. Like, I think 10 years from now, this is enjoyable. And I think it's kind of interesting too is this kind of felt like a low key Treehouse of Horror. There wasn't celebrity guest voices. This was just their core voice artists doing all the voices.
That's true.
So there's something like nice and small about this Treehouse of Horror, yet the animation of each segment was done so well. And we forgot to mention that first segment is like also parodying Pacific Rim.
Right.
Which I feel like that first movie does still stand the test of time. This is kind of a solid outing for Treehouse of Horror, but my rankings, I think it has to do with anything about how I view them likes-wise, but I think I enjoy the order that I saw them in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that second segment, while it wasn't as funny maybe to me as the Denim one, I think it's a nice break between two Simpsons like real realities and then like that fantastical reality of the second one, the macabre art style.
That's a really good point, yeah.
I think the way it was presented was the right way.
Yeah.
Did you give us a ranking yet, or have we got there yet?
I don't think we've gotten there yet, but I do want to say that I think you make a lot of good points, and while I did rank that one my third, I think that this is generally just a very strong entry as a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror in general.
Right. So I didn't give an MVJ, but I'm going to give the MVJ to me.
That's fair.
I liked my pants sting joke, the police joke. Yeah, that was a pretty good joke, so I'll give it to me.
Well deserved. Good job, Craig.
300 episodes in, I think finally one of us deserves a MVJ.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the episode altogether? I mean, just ranking-wise, we discussed what we liked and the positives and whatnot.
Right. I do like the fact, like you mentioned, that it was kind of a low-key, kind of quiet Treehouse of Horror, and I think that it just lets the goodness that is The Simpsons shine, and I think that's really nice. And speaking of shining, not shining, not the shinning, but just shining like a light would, the first segment was all about LED lights. And, you know, if you were to switch your home, replace all your bulbs with LED light bulbs, you know what? You'd save yourself about $225 annually, which is nothing to sneeze at. So you could buy yourself some pants or some corn syrup with that money. So if I do this episode of ranking out of 225, I'm going to give this, we'll say a 207 out of 225. What are your thoughts, Craig?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. My ranking would be Venom, The Last Dance, which was the number one movie, like you said. It's got to take a 40% of the tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes, but with an 81% popcorn meter, which is the viewers. So big discrepancies there, right? The audience loves it, but the reviewers don't. So I'll just meet them in the middle, and I'll give this episode a 69.
Nice.
Is that my 369th joke?
Possibly, yes.
All right. Well, Steve, should we break off another hundo next week?
Oh, yes.
All right. We'll go to 301, Steve. And we don't need the Wheel of Random to celebrate because we are continuing our season 36. Yeah, episode 6, Steve. It's going to be airing November 10th. That's one more day before your big 7-0. That's right. Steve's turning 70 on November 11th.
That's right.
Happy birthday Eve. You get to watch The Simpsons. That's my birthday present for you.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Craig.
Yeah, I controlled the TV.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah. It's either me or Aaron Spelling, Steve. But, Steve, what do you think the title of next week's episode is?
Well, you did mention that it was right before my birthday, and somebody who shares my birthday is one actor named Leonardo DiCaprio, and he starred in a film called What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and I think that maybe they'll just give him a little nod, so I'm going to say that next week's episode will be entitled Who's Eating Gilbert Gottfried? And although he's been dead for several years, they pay an homage to him as an anthropomorphic grape who Homer finds in his fruit salad, and he tells him to do bad things. And in the B-plot...
Well, Steve, you know I just need the title. I don't need
yeah, that's right. Never mind. Sorry.
Save that for when that episode actually is written by you.
Yay.
Because you're the only one who would come up with that. Meaning you're wrong, of course.
Okay. That's fair.
It's actually called Women in Shorts. Ooh. What are some of your favorite women in shorts, Steve?
Billie Jean King.
I knew you were going to say that.
Daisy Duke. David Duke.
I liked it when he wore a little hood with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Women in Shorts, Steve. What do you think that's about?
Well, you know, if this episode is all about Denim and a pair of pants taking over Homer, females always get like the short end of the stick, so they probably get the short end of the stick. So I'm going to say that Marge finds a pair of hot pants that she loves, but they force her to be more impetuous and do bad things. And in the B-plot, Bart also finds a pair of short shorts, and Milhouse isn't sure how to feel about them.
Well, I'd like to say you're right.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to say that.
No.
But unlike your political beliefs, Steve, you're wrong. It's just women of Springfield are featured in very funny short stories. So nothing about the things they put on their legs, Steve. This is from what I've heard, Steve, which I believe they announced it at Comic-Con. It's sort of a sequel to some of our favorite episodes of 22 short films about Springfield.
Oh boy, that's exciting.
Yeah. Apparently, Patty and Selma will have a big role.
Oh?
You know it has a big role, Steve.
What's that?
Poppin' Fresh.
It's true.
But yeah, it was written by Christine Nagel.
The Knife.
Sadly, no Oakley and Weinstein written episode. Yeah. Those men wouldn't know what a woman was if we presented them to them.
It's true.
Unless that woman was in a McDonald's bag, Bill.
That's right.
Bill Oakley likes to eat fast food, Steve.
That's right.
I'm not sure what Weinstein likes to eat, but he likes probably food.
Who doesn't?
Well, Steve, are you excited to review short stories?
Indeed I am. I'm very excited.
Do you feel like we've had a proper 22-minute Simpsons adventure? Or they've all been kind of something different, right, this season?
Yeah, I feel like they've been very experimental, and I don't feel like we've gotten, like, a core story, so maybe this will, like, be the one thing that tells a lot of short stories, and then we can go back to quote-unquote normal.
Yeah, I guess the most closest to, like, a quote-unquote normal, as you'd say, would be the Yellow Lotus, but even that was kind of a gimmicky episode.
Mm-hmm. It did feel kind of non-canonical in a way.
But it was canonical, Steve.
Indeed.
All right. Hopefully this episode is also canonical and will feature McGonagall. From Harry Potter, Steve.
Indeed. Yeah.
I only like those books now.
Now you do.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Steve. Hey, happy 300.
And a happy 300 to you.
And a happy 300 more?
Perhaps, yes. And thank you so much, fans, for listening for the past 300 episodes or 2 episodes or however many you've heard. We thank you.
Yeah, if you started here, just start here and don't look back.
Yeah.
Be like Oasis and don't look back on our anger of podcasting.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Steve, hey, let our fans know. You know what? I'll let our fans know that they can contact us on email, like 138simpsons@gmail.com, or on social medias, like Instagram @138simpsons, or our YouTube channel @138simpsons. It's all @138simpsons.
That's right. And hey, if you're so kind, go to your favorite podcatching app, leave us 5 stars or the equivalent. But you don't need to write a real review. Just tell us your political beliefs, what you're eating for Thanksgiving, and what kind of pants you like to wear.
Maybe just the pants part at Thanksgiving. We don't need your political beliefs, Steve.
That's right, because we're not a political podcast.
All right, and hey, check us out on tpublic.com/user/AnnoyedGrandBoys for our TeePublic merch. It's not merch about TeePublic, but, about this podcast. So there, do that.
We should do that, though. We should make TeePublic merch. I think they'd like that.
Okay, hey, Steve, we're done. We're done.
All right.
300 down the podcast hole. Wherever it's going on the internet. So thanks again, everyone, for listening. I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Craig.
And I've been Annoyed Grunt Boy Steve.
And remember, I'm Magical Pants, okay?
The internet was a mistake.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.